Oh, shoot. Oh, I didn't see you beautiful people there. What up? Welcome to the freaking channel. This is Rex Tech, where we spread the good news of the cloud. Why are you here? Because you want to know what you should be doing before you think about deciding to join a boot camp. A little about me, not going to go too much into that story. That's going to be for a whole other video. But I am a self-taught cloud engineer. I transitioned from a professional athlete in the sport of track and field to a cloud engineer, and the entire journey took about 1.7 years, right? Now, I did join a boot camp, a 6-month boot camp, right? Which I leveraged to help me land my first job. But here's the kicker. Before I even joined the boot camp, and about 5 to 7 months before that, I did a lot of exploration. I did a lot of self-taught upskilling, I did a bunch of stuff before, and then I decided to join the boot camp. When I joined it, I leveraged it, and then I was able to land a job at the end of the boot camp. All right. Now, before we even talk about what you should be doing before you decide to join a boot camp, I am going to preface by saying this. This is not a video to tell you that you should join a boot camp or you should not. This is me giving you information based off of personal experience. Whatever I say, if you do not like it, if you do not ascribe to it, well, that's you, right? This is my experience. This is my advice to you. And obviously, listen, I'm gonna tell you straight up. Do not listen to everything I say and take it and go and think it's gospel and try and apply it, all right? You need to take information, right? Understand it and see how it applies to your situation and see if it makes sense, and then apply bits and pieces of it. Don't just take what I say blindly. Anyone for that matter, anybody you see on YouTube, social media, just talking and talking and talking, take everything with a grain of salt, okay? So I prefaced with that. Now let's get to the grand question of what you should do before you join a boot camp. Let's use this analogy. Let's say you have a job that's about 2 miles away from your house, right? You can walk there, it might take 45 minutes to get there, right? But you have to wake up pretty early, to be ready, get everything set. And you better hope that it's not raining, the sun is not too hot, or it's not snowing, right? But the thing is that you do save a lot of money not having to buy a car, the maintenance of a car, gas, or buy a bike or Uber, right? But on the flip side of that, you are choosing to do life the hard way, right? Brute force is what we call it, okay? Now, you do get a lot of life lessons from this, right? You get discipline, you get patience, you get consistency. You build that over that time of waking up early and being able to walk to work and just trucking through life, doing it by brute force. Now, there's another way to this. Let's say one day you say, man, I'm tired of walking, man. I want a car or something, right? And you decide you're going to save money to buy a bike or a car. Why? Because you want to leverage the car to get you to work more efficiently to reach your ultimate goal of getting to work, right? So, but you do have to spend a lot of money to buy the car first. You have to invest in that. Wink, wink, boot camp. We'll get back to that. But so you're leveraging the car so you can get to work, but you have to invest a lot of money into it, okay? Let's say we have 2 people. One person walks to work, the other person drives to work. The person who drives never had the experience of walking before. They've always driven to work. There's always gotten in a car and driven to work, okay? That's just their day of life. Then the person who walks to work, sooner or later, after 3 to 4 months of walking, they get tired and they say, I'm going to save some money. They save money and then they're able to purchase a car, and now they can drive to work. So now you have 2 people driving to work. Someone who was never walking before and someone who was walking and then decided to invest and then drive, okay? All towards the same goal of getting to work efficiently and effectively. Out of these 2 people, use logical sense. Don't come in the comments and start commenting a bunch of crazy stuff. Who do you think would appreciate the fact that they have a car to be able to drive to work? Who do you think would appreciate that fact more? Logically, it would be the person who was walking at the beginning and then they saved a lot of money and then they got the car. Now, even though the person who had the car may have saved a lot of money too, they've never gone through the process of experiencing walking, right? So when they got the car, yes, they can appreciate it. They save money, they got the car. But the person who saved money and walked, they know what they've been through. So now they can take advantage, leverage, care, put more into their car. They can be more involved in their car. They can take care of it. They can invest in it more. They can clean it. They can, you know what I mean? The person who was walking sees their car in a different light. So now that brings us to what you should do before you join a boot camp. I'm actually gonna answer the question now. The answer is, I believe that you should spend 3 to 6 months personal development, going through the hard times, going through the tough times, learn how to be disciplined, learn how to be consistent, exploring what tech is, understanding there's so much areas in tech. Which part do you like? Which part you don't like? You don't know unless you explore. I think those 3 to 6 months, you should invest in yourself, figuring out what this thing is that you want in tech, the area you like, try many different things, figure stuff out, watch videos, get engulfed into the world and the realm of tech. What does it mean? What is a day in a life of a person in this role, on that role? You have to assimilate yourself into the tech atmosphere within those 3 to 6 months. And then you make a more educated decision on whether to join a boot camp or not. Now, I am going to give you the reasons on why this helps you make a better decision. Reason number 1. The number 1 question when people want to transition to tech is, which area in tech should I go into? Tech is huge, vast. There's many different sectors, and there's sectors within sectors, right? Before you just decide that, hey, I'm going to join a boot camp. Hey, I heard about software engineering. I'm just going to join this boot camp because this is cool. You should spend 3 to 6 months exploring the tech area. I kind of touched on this before, right? We have cloud computing, we have software engineering, we have cybersecurity, we have data, we have AI, there's so many areas in tech. And if you just pigeon yourself into one hole and one area and say, I'm just gonna do this boot camp, I think you're robbing yourself from finding out what you're really passionate about. For me, it took about 7 months of exploration before I decided to join a boot camp. And I did a couple certifications that exposed me to different parts of tech, like CompTIA certs. I did A+, I did Security Plus, I did Network Plus, I even did Server Plus. And then I went and started doing some project management certs like Prince 2, and I was doing some crazy stuff. But guess what all that did? That allowed me to explore areas which I liked and I didn't like, and it exposed me to this part of tech. So I got to understand, okay, I realized that this tech thing, the technical part of tech, is really based on understanding computer systems, how they communicate, how to secure them, and then operating systems and hardware, right? That's what those base certifications got me to understand. And from that, I got to realize, hey, this is cool. Where do I fit in? And that's when I heard about cloud computing. It was during the process is when I heard about cloud. And when I heard about cloud, that's when I decided to, hey, what is this thing called cloud? And I pivoted to cloud. So people always ask me, how did you know cloud was the thing you wanted to do? I did not find cloud. Cloud found me on my journey as I was deciding to explore. You get to be able to pinpoint and find the area you're passionate about, find the area that you really like before you start to commit to a boot camp in a specific area. You tend to find out, what do you want for your career? What do you want for the future? And then maybe after you decided that for the next 7 months, like I did, when I decided cloud was the thing for me, I did some more cloud learnings by myself, and then I decided to join a cloud bootcamp because I knew and decided that cloud computing is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. The second thing you get to learn by doing this is you learn how to learn, all right? Learning how to learn and be resourceful and being able to find information, get information, to be able to solve a problem is very fundamental to tech. As engineers, I'm gonna just let you know right now, we don't know everything. We actually almost don't know nothing. All we do know is the context and background and fundamentals. So whenever we visit a problem we've never actually visited before, We can Google it, research it, but we have the brains to be able to understand the context to with the information that we find, we can use that information to help to solve the problem. A regular person who doesn't know anything about tech, when they see that information, they don't know what to do with it. But for someone who is engulfed, someone who understands the concepts, the fundamentals, when they're trying to solve a problem that they've never seen or encountered before, once they research it, once they ask other people and they give them information, they can use that and apply it contextually to what they're trying to solve, right? So that learning how to learn, learning how to take in information, learning how to absorb all this tech jargons and concepts, being able to understand it and then being able to apply it and maybe relate it to some real world examples in your day-to-day. Like when you learn how to learn, you become more effective and more efficient in anything you do, right? So you build that before you even decide to join a bootcamp. Now, your learning capabilities or the learning styles is going to change and fluctuate in different parts of your career, right? You may learn something different about yourself, like, oh, I actually like learning this way. Oh, I like learning this way. Let me add this to how I'm being able to, ramp up really quickly, right? Because tech is changing every single month. There's something new, a new framework, a new tool, there's just something else always coming up, right? So you being able to learn how to learn, knowing how you learn, knowing how you ramp up and understand and get information really quickly about something, you're gonna use that forever. Because when that new framework comes, when that new tool comes, obviously, cloud was a thing before that was relatively new. Now it's not new anymore, but this AI and machine learning thing, which is also not new, but it's reached a different level to where everybody knows what it is, right? And everybody's trying to upskill. If you know how to learn, if you know how you learn, you can easily upskill on this new tool, right? And you're not gonna waste a lot of time because you know what works for you. Some people can sit for 5 hours and study. Some people can't. They gotta do 45 minutes, break, 45 minutes, break. For me, I can sit for 6 hours straight and study, but I know that works for me. So if someone comes to me and like, hey man, we have to study for like 45 minutes and then break, I will tell them that that's not gonna work for me. I'm gonna lose focus. I'm gonna break a lot of my focus and my patterns because I'd rather, if it's something I really want to do and really want to study, I have to sit for a long time, 3 hours to really get into the space. I call it the lion's den. You go into the lion's den and you stay there for 3-4 hours. You get what you need to get and then you come out, right? You can take breaks, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but when I say deep focus for 4 hours, you're not really leaving your chair or you're not really diverting or moving too much around to many different areas, right? That's what works for me, right? So you learn how to learn, you learn how to pick up new things, you learn how to find new resources, you learn how to figure stuff out for yourself, you learn how to solve problems. So the next one is you build confidence, right? Now, for me, when I was transitioning from a pro athlete to this world of tech, right? It's easy to feel like, yo, I don't know what the heck this is. I don't understand it. I'm not confident. Like this stuff that I'm learning, this new jargons, these new concepts, they don't make any sense. And for a lot of people, when they get hit with that initial, oh shoot, what the heck is this? They back off and then they feel like, this tech thing is not for me. Especially when you decide to just join a boot camp and then the first 3 weeks, you're like, oh shoot, I don't understand none of this, but you already paid 6 to 10 grand for it. You can't opt out no more. But the thing is, if you do 3 to 6 months before, you get through this phase of the initial shock of what is this thing, right? But then you keep doing it, you keep engulfing yourself, you keep immersing yourself and assimilating yourself into this tech place, this tech area, whatever tech area you decide to do. And then you're gonna realize that after a while of compounding your knowledge and pushing through, that you are actually start understanding the stuff. You're gonna get an aha moment like, oh shoot, this stuff kind of makes sense. Oh, who am I? Oh shoot, I'm an engineer. What the heck? I get this. It makes sense, right? You wanna get that aha moment. You wanna get the opportunity to have that aha moment before you decide to join a bootcamp. Because you can say no or yes, right? So you already gone through the shock phase, and now your confidence is building because now you're building on top of what you've learned before. You're building, and you get to a certain point, right, that when you do get stuck, you're still confident. What are you confident in? You're confident in your actually ability to be able to find a solution for the problem. Not necessarily on the skills you have now, but the fact that, hey, I've built enough confidence that I can find the resources, I can figure this out, and I can solve this problem. That's when you get confidence, right? Because I'm just letting you know, like engineers, we don't know everything. I'm gonna say it again. We do not know everything. But we walk in the room and be confident. You give us a problem that I don't get, I don't understand. I'm gonna tell you that, don't worry about it. I'm gonna figure it out. How are you gonna figure it out? You don't have the skills for it. Don't matter. I'm gonna go find out what the skills are. I'm gonna go find the right person. I'm gonna go find the right resource. I'm gonna go find the right documentation. I'm gonna go find the right code base. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, I will figure it out. Why? Because I've figured it out before. This is not the first time. I'm confident enough in my skills on being able to figure it out. So that imposter syndrome or that initial shock is gone away. So when it comes to the time that you want to join a boot camp, whether you decide to or not, at that point, you've already gone through that process. Right, now let's go to number 4. For this one, I love this one. You might catch fire. What the heck does catch fire mean? So you've been working for 3 months, 6 months. You've been exploring, right? You've been gaining discipline, confidence, consistency. You know where to find information, resources. You go on YouTube, Udemy, Google, Reddit, ChatGPT. You find out, you figure out this whole thing of, hey, yo, I can do this by myself. I'm good. I don't need a boot camp. I have all the information here. I've caught my own fire. The fire that was within me that I can figure this out by myself. I'm burning right now with passion that I do not need to spend a bunch of money, 5, 10, 20 grand on a boot camp. That is actually the best possible situation you want to be in, right? You get there, you catch your fire, and you decide, yo, I don't need no boot camp. Yo, I'm good. Like, I got this. This makes sense. I've built a network on LinkedIn. I got people I could ask about. I got resources. I could go here. I get stuck. I could go there. And you decide, yo, I can do this for myself. I heard about Learn to Cloud, that guy. What the heck? All these resources, free. A lot of them free online, and you decide, I'm not going to join this boot camp. And I've seen many people come to that realization, and they were able to do it by themselves, and they were able to land a job. Okay? So that is catching fire. Now, the last one, you catch a fire. You catch a fire. Why? Is because you realize that, hey, you don't need a boot camp because you've developed all of this before. Right? Resources, discipline, you explored, consistency, you built confidence. You don't need a boot camp anymore. But back to our analogy, I don't need a car. I don't need an Uber. I don't need a bike. I can do it the hard way. I can brute force this because I have enough information and I've gone through this process to be able to do it myself. But I decide to leverage the car, the bike, Uber. I decide to leverage the boot camp because I've already built this callus. I know who I am. I know what I want to do. I know the passion. I know the area. Now, when I join this boot camp, I'm not joining like a regular person who is green coming off the street, who doesn't know anything about tech. I already have the understanding of the concepts. I have the fundamentals. I've already explored this. So for others who are coming to join that boot camp for the first time, you know what's the first initial skills they have to develop? The first 6 to 2 months? The same thing you just developed. They have to develop discipline. They have to develop consistency. They have to learn how to learn. They have to understand where to get resources from when they're stuck. How do they figure it out? Confidence. All of that they have to do, which you've already done. So what does that allow you to do when you enter? Now you can actually leverage and be more effective in that boot camp than if you did not go through that 3 to 6 month experience. So now when you come in, you can actually be the one to help others. I'm not saying you gotta be prideful and say, oh, I know all of this. No, you come in and then you can actually help people who are on their journey of being able to develop those skills which you've done the first 3 to 6 months working by yourself, right? So then you start to become a resource for people in the bootcamp, right? What I've learned of being able to communicate things that are technical to people who aren't necessarily technical, who are just learning, is that you tend to be able to understand the concepts even more at a deeper level. Because you're trying to explain something that's very technical to someone who doesn't necessarily understand the fundamentals. How do you do that? You got to break it down a bunch of levels, and you have to either relate it to real world stuff that they can understand. And once you start doing that, you get to know that, oh shoot, I know this stuff now. Like, hey, I can explain this to anyone. Once you get to that point is when you actually know it. And you can do that the first couple of months, the first couple of weeks of the bootcamp, because of what you did before. And then this bootcamp, they're really there to give you a pathway, right? Give you other resources, give you some type of structured way and hold you more accountable. You have people who are going through this process with you. You're not alone anymore, right? Haven't gone through what you've gone through by yourself. When you enter inside this bootcamp life, you will be able to take advantage of every single thing. While everyone is still learning the fundamentals, you're seeing different stuff. Oh, that's a skill like professional development, like LinkedIn, like going on LinkedIn and fixing up your profile, posting regularly, or a bootcamp might even give you projects for you to do, right? They give you the project, you just have to do it, right? And because you've already been doing that before, once they give you the project, it's like, oh shoot, I'm about to kill this. I'm about to do this in like 3 days. It's different for you. You see, I'm still saying, this video is not for you to join a bootcamp or not. It's for me giving you information on what you should do before you decide to join a bootcamp. And that's up to you to decide whether it's yes or no, or whatever. It hurts me when a lot of people join a bootcamp. They just decided to do it because, hey, I heard software engineers make a lot of money and I want to do software engineer. I don't have any understanding of what the heck even is coding, what the heck is software engineering. I don't even understand what it is. I haven't Googled it. I haven't gone on YouTube. What does a software engineer do? They come in blank, and then the first week, they're like, I did not know this is what software engineers do. Oh my God, this is not what I want. But you're already 10 grand out of pocket. What are you gonna do? You're gonna force yourself now to love something that you really do not like anymore? Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who start something they might not like, but because they want it so bad, they push through and then they end up liking it, right? Now, that's not the situation I'm talking about. There are some people who actually go inside boot camps not doing good enough educational research to understand what a person in that field that boot camp is tackling, whether it's software engineer or cloud engineer, what they do. And then they realize that the first week, they get the first exposure of what this person does in that role, and you're like, oh no, I don't want this for my life. Like, I didn't know this is what cybersecurity people do. Like, SOC analysts, I'm not trying to do this. Like, no. Yeah, but you just pay so much money to join a bootcamp without doing any research. And this may sound crazy, but people actually do this. I'm telling you. I mean, that wraps it up, man. That's like, from my experience, from other people's experience, this is me to you, giving you information. And now it's up to you to decide what you want to do. But please do some research before joining the bootcamp. Please. All right? This is Rex Tech signing out. Don't forget to spread the good news of the cloud. Later.